Both sides in the Yemeni's three-year war signaling they may be ready to end the fighting. The Saudi-led military coalition, which supports Yemen's internationally recognized government, has ordered a halt in its offensive on the key Yemen port of Hodeida, the country's main entry for food imports. Now, the Iran-backed Houthi rebels say they are stopping drone and missile strikes on the coalition forces. Viewers Zlatica Hoke reports the United Nations is pushing for a ceasefire to end the raging humanitarian crisis in Yemen.
According to the United Nations, at least 10,000 people have been killed in the war in Yemen so far, and millions of people have no reliable access to food. UN officials say the bombing of civilians, blocking access to food aid, and other violations of humanitarian principles have caused the world's worst man-made humanitarian disaster.
This is not on the brink of a catastrophe. This is a catastrophe as we speak.
The conflict is seen as a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. A British-drafted UN resolution calls on the warring parties to cease attacks and negotiate for peace. Saudi King Salman said Monday his country will support the international effort, but it has a duty to protect Yemenis against Iran's interference.
The international community has to work to put an end to the Iranian nuclear program and stop its activities that threaten security and stability in the region.
Houthi rebel leaders agreed to stop rocket and drone attacks on the coalition forces if Saudi Arabia is genuinely interested in peace. The two sides are expected to meet for peace talks in Sweden by the end of the year.
Regarding the dialogue, we are ready for a dialogue at any time when there is a real dialogue leading to peace. If the UN Special Envoy for Yemen comes, we are ready for a dialogue. If he doesn't come, we are ready to fight until the last breath.
UN Special Envoy for Yemen, Martin Griffiths, has promised to accompany the Houthi representatives from the Yemeni capital of Sana'a if necessary.
This is a crucial moment for Yemen. I've received firm assurances from the leadership of the Yemeni parties, the governor of Yemen, of course, first, and then Ansarallah, that they are committed to attending these consultations. I believe they're genuine, and I expect them to continue in that way and to appear for those consultations, and indeed so do the Yemeni people, who are desperate for a political solution to a war in which they are the main victims.
The draft resolution on Yemen, presented to the UN Security Council on Monday, calls for an immediate truce in the port city of Hodeida and sets a 2-week deadline for the warring sides to remove all barriers to humanitarian aid. Zlatica Hoke, VOA News, Washington.